Bo Burnham burst onto the comedy scene at a very formative time for me, all the way back in 2013 with What when I was 10 years old. It goes without saying that I was far too young to understand pretty much any of it, but with Make Happy, his 2016 special, I witnessed a sort of turning point in his goals and ideals as a comedian. If the name is any indication, this special takes on a much more meta and almost existential approach. It is, as a result, very personal to him and challenges the form in many ways that I've personally never seen done in the stand-up medium. This all came to a head when finally, after 5 years of total radio silence, I had the pleasure of watching Bo's newest entirely self-made special, Inside, a piece that is so catastrophically disruptive in its genius, I simply don't know what to do with it. This is so transformative for the entire medium of stand-up comedy for so many reasons. And I'm not going to sit here, suck this thing's dick purely because it's different. It's still deeply rooted in the form of stand-up and musical comedy. If this was nothing more than 90 minutes of depressing philosophy, I wouldn't come away from it saying, hey, that was a great stand-up special. I would come away from it saying, hey, that was a great Charlie Kaufman film. While those things are present throughout, and while it does add so much to the entire experience in terms of how you relate to it, I wouldn't like this as much if it were purely that. The whole allure of this special to me is that it began as a man wanting to make some new stand-up material, but he had to conform to the restrictions of the time. These restrictions, however, are what turned this special into something that I think is truly revolutionary. While it restricted him in the traditional sense, with no crew, no audience, no venue to be had, it allowed him to get even more creative with the actual content of the special itself. Rather than having a keyboard and a piano on stage and having to make every song suitable for that format, each song in Inside is a full-fledged production. This creativity, whether it be in the music, the material itself, the set pieces, all of it is so incredibly different to not just the content coming from other stand-up comedians, but is a wild change in pace from Bo's previous work as well.
Okay, so I can cry. So he's not happy about being in this room. I guess I'll cry again. Is the dude big or is the room small? That's what I'm...
There is one through line throughout most of Bo's stand-up though, and that's the absolute honesty within it. Throughout most of his career, Bo has managed to stay somewhat apolitical, at least without getting into specifics, but one of the questions that arises within Inside is an incredibly reasonable one.
Is comedy over? Should I leave you alone? Cause really, who's gonna go for it? Joking at a time like this. Should I be joking at a time like this?
If Inside is anything, it is a direct product of the brain and thoughts of one person filtered through the prism of comedy. And more specifically, it is a thorough examination of the thought processes that I think a lot of people have gone through in the past year and a half. Things have been a little fucky. A particular standout is Bo's take on the impact of smartphones and social media on the world's youth.
You know, maybe allowing giant digital media corporations to exploit the neurochemical drama of our children for profit. You know, maybe that was a bad call.
It is the most prevalent bit of commentary throughout the special, and it hits home just about every time without fail. It's something that I'm sure a lot of people, myself included, have been clued in on throughout the span of the pandemic. You're locked indoors. What else are you going to do but look at your phone and quietly watch the world tear itself apart?
All human interaction, whether it be social, political, spiritual, sexual, or interpersonal, should be contained in a much more safe, much more real, interior digital space.
With that context, I think that Inside is both an incredibly personal experience, yet an incredibly relatable one too. I can't speak for anyone else, but I can certainly speak for myself when I say that quarantine was a confusing and downright damaging experience. I'm not the first, nor am I even the 100th person to say this, but it still holds true. Inside took the words out of my mouth and threw them on a screen. It took the feelings that I was feeling and splattered them on a canvas. This special may come off as dated in, say, 3 years' time, when COVID is in the rearview mirror and we have some other major historical event to live through, but this isn't Borat 2. It doesn't solely depend on your knowledge of modern events to make you laugh. It doesn't oversaturate its comedy with political interjection and semantics. It encapsulates these wild times and projects them in aerial view. He is not just expressing his opinions on this singular moment in time, he is expressing his opinion on time's trajectory, on the end of time, which is, in and of itself, funny enough, timeless. And to be honest, I can't see this aging poorly in any timeline.
And you've got a choice as a brand. You can hide and bury your head in the sand and hope it fixes itself, or you can roll up your sleeves and get to work and sell Butterfingers.
Now, don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and call Bo Burnham a prophet or suck his dick for making a few good jokes, but what I am going to do is suck his dick and call him a genius, because that's what he is. Is that at all ostentatious to say? I mean, before this special, I liked Bo's material, but I was always too embarrassed to say that I did, because sometime in 2017, he sort of went under the wing of, like, those band kids that would Naruto run down the hallway or hiss at the teacher. I mean, frankly, I can't even put into words the things that this special made me feel. I don't want to say that it transcended comedy and turned into something way different that's never been done before, but it kinda did. He's always been absolutely hilarious, but he's been hiding this from us the whole time? Simply put, it's amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. I think everyone in the world should watch it, if only to form their own opinion. I'm writing this video 4 days after it came out, and I've already seen it 3 times, and frankly, I could watch it a 4th and a 5th and a 6th and 7th too. I physically can't comprehend how you make something like this and just put it out there. It's so deeply personal to the point where it feels like something you'd find on his hard drive in a folder labeled homework or something. Parts of this special were so brutally, undauntingly bleak that it felt as though I, wasn't supposed to be watching it? What did we, the human race, as shitty and deranged and sociopathic as we are, do to deserve something this unabashedly good? I mean, Bo, come on my podcast and break it down for me. We'd love to have you, because honestly, I think I'm in shock. If there's one thing that I hope comes out of the future of stand-up, and really entertainment in general, is that it embraces its restrictions, that it challenges its traditions, no matter how hard. While I could have watched Bo do what he was doing before for a dozen more specials to come, this changed things in a way that I was not expecting, and I don't think I will ever truly forget. Inside is a magnum opus. It's timely, it's relatable, it's emotional, it's depressing, it's experimental, but most of all, it's funny. And at the end of the day, what more could we truly ask for?
It'll stop any day now. Any day now. Any day now. It'll stop any day now. Any day now. Any day now. It'll stop any day now.